Well, now into our first segment. Some people say the political landscape of Sierra Leone has seen a major transformation over the years, marked by progress, persistent challenges, and moments of deep concerns. From democratic gains and increased civic participation to recurring tensions, tribal sentiments, and governance issues. The nation's political climate continues to evolve in complex ways. Now, as the country strives to strengthen its democratic institutions and foster national unity, it becomes crucial to critically examine the state of politics in Sierra Leone, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to understand where we are, how far we've come, and what lies ahead for sustainable peace and development. So joining us this morning via Zoom, we have Dr. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden, OOR, as she takes us through, everything basically that we've highlighted, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Good morning, Dr. Blyden, if you can hear us this morning.
Yes, good morning. I can hear you now. At the start of the program, I couldn't hear. There was no sound. It was breaking up. I hope I can continue hearing now. But I can hear you very well now. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. To actually begin with, Dr. Blyden, you have been a vocal campaigner in governance issues. How do you define the current moments in Sierra Leone's politics in few words, basically?
Currently, politically, we have two political parties, the SLPP and the APC. So when you speak of politics in Sierra Leone, obviously it has to be the SLPP and the APC. All the other parties are really existing because the constitution allows them to exist. But these two main parties actually dominate the political sphere. So I would say this is a moment where we are on the threshold of consolidating our political democratic credentials, because the two parties are preparing to choose their presidential candidates and leaders who would lead them into the 2028 elections. So we're at a threshold point where our democratic credentials are going to be tested, and we're going to see where we move from there. So I think in a few words, that's what I would say.
Vocal in terms of political issues in Sierra Leone, and most young people do go to your social media platforms just to see how you go about analyzing some of the issues that happen in terms of democracy and stuff like that. One will ask, what personal values guide your analysis, when you call out political actors, especially, within your own political party or allies?
A lot of things. I would say primarily my upbringing, because my upbringing is one where I was taught to be courageous as long as it is in the interest of the nation. So even if it goes against the grain of what my political party might want, if it is against the interest of the nation, I was taught that you have to stand firm. I come from a very long line of activists, 7 generations of uninterrupted activists, from my great-great-grandfather, the father of Pan-Africanism, on my maternal side. So it's in my genes, it's genetic, that we have to be courageous. You have to speak truth to power. You always have to be ready to speak truth to power. So that's the first thing, my upbringing, my genetic makeup. Secondly, I have had people in my life who have taught me leadership, who have made me see what it means when God blesses you with leadership, to always come to my platform, to my Facebook page. It is a blessing from God. So when God blesses you with leadership, you have to use it well. And I've had people in my life, and I can name some of them, who have shown me at critical points what it means to be a leader. One is the late former president, Alhaji Dr. Ahmad Tijan Kaba. he taught me a lot about leadership. So if you see me today standing bravely, courageously, huge behemoths and challenging them, it is something that happened on the day he gave me a national honor. As you might know, I was the youngest in the history of Sierra Leone to be given an officer of the Order of the Rochelle. And when he was decorating me at the State House lawns, he said to me, I am so proud of you. And I know with someone like you, the future of Sierra Leone is secure and safe. Those words of that old man is always ringing in my ears. And I'm always saying to myself, I would not let him down, because whatever I believe is correct for Sierra Leone, I have to say it. Regardless of what are the consequences, I say it. Another person who has also taught me leadership, I mean, this is going to be ironic because the two of us, we don't get along very well right now, but he taught me tremendous leadership in terms of unifying Sierra Leone. It's Ernest Bai Koroma, the former president. Ernest Bai Koroma really, he led Sierra Leone in a unifying manner, which also taught me the importance of standing up against anything that would bring disunity or divisiveness in Sierra Leone. So there have been people in my life, my upbringing, my parents, other mentors. Recently, I wrote about the first woman who has served as president of Sierra Leone, Honorable Elizabeth Alpha Lavali. She also had a tremendous influence on my life. So these people have made me what I am today. So the Sylvia Olayinka Blyden that you see is actually a compendium of many different influences in my life.
Let's come a bit to the work you're doing presently. You've led high-profile criticism of previous governments and, of course, this government. Looking at the status quo now and where we are now, what would be your assessment when it comes to governance? I mean, we're looking at different areas, whether on the political atmosphere, the economy, or the everyday lives of the ordinary citizen. Where are we when it comes to, you know, looking at the governance structure in general? What would be your assessment?
That's quite a wide spectrum. It's a bit difficult to analyze that, to respond to that question, because it's too wide. We'll spend the whole day, replying to that one. So maybe if you hone it down to specifics, it might be easier to reply.
Let's start with the economy. What would be your assessment of this administration's handling of the economy so far?
I have to confess that the economy is not my strongest point. I always tell people that. People always say, oh, Sylvia, I can make like it's a whole thing. And I say to them, well, there's one thing I don't know, the economy. So it's normally difficult for me to do analysis on economic issues. But what I would say, with my limited knowledge about how the Sierra Leone economy runs, what I would say is that something is wrong somewhere. If we can have a situation where the salaries of our civil servants, of our police officers, of our military men, our nurses, have not increased in proportion to the way the exchange rate has increased, then it means there's something wrong with the economics that is being done in the country. Because I would imagine that if the dollar exchange rate is going up, it means the income from customs duties and all of these revenue sources that are coming in dollars will also go up. So I would imagine that there would be enough money if we really manage the budget where we can raise salaries commensurate to the exchange rate. But now we have a situation where when our party was leaving office, the APC, the minimum wage could buy you 2 bags of rice, plus money left over for your children to have transport to go to school, and cook some sauce with basic minimum wage. Now, the minimum wage, in consonance with the exchange rate, it's just abysmal. You cannot even, the astronomical exchange rate has not reflected on the salaries. So for me, if we want to talk about the economy, I would focus on salaries. What is happening? Why is the economy in such a way that we cannot increase the salaries of our basic civil servants, police officers, military men, nurses, doctors, commensurate to the exchange rate? Something is wrong somewhere.
Now, Dr. Blyden, your approach itself, as a seasoned media person, you've blended investigative journalism. You've also used theatrical public calls. Legal filings as well. Your cases are precedents for most law students reading law. Looking at all this and looking at the current, I wouldn't want to say tension, but the current concerns within both political parties, the SLPP and the APC alike, people clamoring for flag bearer positions. Should we be worried?
Recently, I had to make a special phone call to the PPRC just to say thank you to them. Just to say thank you. And they were quite pleased because they said it's not often that a critic like me picks up the phone and says thank you to them. But I had to say thank you because what they did, levying those fines on the All People's Congress first, and then on the Sierra Leone People's Party, and even levying a higher amount on the Sierra Leone People's Party because they said they are the governing party and they should have known better than using that type of language that they used that caused them to be fined. It gives me a lot of hope for the future. I think with the current PPRC, I pray that they continue along these lines. I don't believe we'll have any reason to be afraid of any tension. Because when you look at the act, the PPRC is heavily empowered to control the polity. So I'm optimistic that we should not be worried. I'm very optimistic.
Dr. Blyden, let's continue the conversation around politics. Quite recently we saw videos and reports, which indicates of locked chains at the SLPP party office the day the SLPP women intended to hold an event. And from your Facebook post, you described that act as an act of slavery. Maybe you may want to, take us through or walk us through the facts as you understand them and explain why you use that, specific language.
Yes. Before I do that, I would like to remind the listeners that I remain to be one of the very few women in Sierra Leone who have been in active public light, agitating for women for over 3 decades. There is only one woman in Sierra Leone right now, only one in Sierra Leone right now, who can say that her activism predates Dr. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden, and that is Dr. Nana Pratt. Everybody else, whether it is Zainab Bangura, whether it is Yasmin Jushu Sharif, whether it is Amy Smythe, whether it is Abato Thomas of blessed memory, whether it is Nima, they all met me in the field. Everybody else, apart from Dr. Nana Pratt, they all met me because I was precautious in fighting for women. I remember when Dr. Fatmata Boy Kamara called me for us to lead a march of thousands of women through the streets of Freetown during the civil. It was myself and Dr. Fatmata Boy Kamara who held the banner and led thousands of women. I was at the university, I was a student. So I have been agitating for women in this country more than every other woman apart from Dr. Nana Pratt. So when I speak on these issues, it is I speak from both hindsight and foresight. We have come a long way as women in this country. I have seen it all. I have seen the gender agenda being hijacked. I have seen the gender agenda being put on track. And I have seen women who used to be suppressed today are like freed out of bondage. They are like free now to, so many laws have been enacted that have told them that you are now powerful. You can now speak. You are now protected. Come to the fore. Woman, come on, Ado. Woman, come on, Ado. Power day now. You know that the women have been told. So when you see that scene that I saw at the SLPP party office, it was like you want to take the woman back to slavery, to bondage, to the days when the woman could not speak. When Nancy Steele said to Shaka Stevens that I want a symbol to contest as a woman, they took canes and flogged her at Victoria Park because she should not dare as a woman to speak. Those days are long gone. We now have days where our women are supposed to be so courageous, so brave, gender equality. And we saw these women wanting to hold their council meeting in their thousands. I have never seen that number of women because it was like 90% of the turnout was women. I have never seen, I have been in activism for over 30 years. I have never seen a political rally of the kind we saw on Saturday. Only women in their thousands coming out, only to go and meet chains and padlocks. It sent, the message was one of, you are not allowed to speak. You are not allowed to take your mantle of authority and speak. Go away from here. We've put chains on you. So that's what I meant by you sending the women back to bondage. I have seen it all. I have traversed. In 1995, I was the person who represented the young women of Africa at the Beijing Conference on Women. I spoke, that was 30 years ago. I spoke of women of Africa. And we have journeyed for 30 years to where we are today, to that fascinating, fantastic scene that this country has never seen before. We've had political rallies, and normally to be men and women. And most of the time, the men might even be more. But what we saw on Saturday was so exciting to me. Thousands of women, girls, young ladies, old women, coming together to go and speak. And they met chains and padlocks. No, for me, it was not acceptable. And that's why I spoke out.
Dr. Blyden, you've called for investigation with regards to that act. Do you believe it has the credibility and also the will to conduct an impartial probe, you know, with regards to that specific act on that day?
Say the question again.
I said
didn't hear.
You've called for investigation, you know, of what happened on that particular day. Do you believe the SLPP leadership do have that credibility and will, you know, to conduct an impartial probe of what happened on that specific day?
The SLPP leader is the president of Sierra Leone. And as president of Sierra Leone, there are tremendous powers that any sitting president has. So he can exercise those powers to find out who put those padlocks on that gate. It's up to him. He's the leader. He can do his investigations. He can find out and he can, so it's up to him. I mean, as I said on my Facebook post, believe you me, that scene of those padlocks and chains is going to haunt the SLPP for a long time. It's going to haunt them. We're going to remind them over and over again, whenever we have the opportunity, we'll remind them that when the women of your party gathered in their thousands, you put a padlock and chain. You sent them back to slavery. You told them you're in bondage. Don't speak here. It's going to haunt them. So it is up to him as leader to decide that he doesn't want this to haunt them, and he does proper investigations. But if they don't do it again, and I will not be surprised because they speak from both sides of their mouth, the SLPP, and even the leadership president and President Julius Maada Bio himself, he speaks from both sides of his mouth when it comes to gender equality and women's empowerment. So it is up to him. If he wants to do the investigation, he will do it. If he doesn't want to do it, well, it's on record. We've already recorded it.
Dr. Blyden, do you see yourself as part of the solution to Sierra Leone's political division? I mean, you know, critics have labeled you as saying that your alliance changed too often. I mean, rightly so.
I said my alliance changed.
No, critics say your alliance changed too often, and I would like to point out. I'd like to point out a few examples. Often the time, people quote that you gave the late President Kaba a tough time, and later on you became best of buddies. You were best of buddies with President Anes Baikooma, and there's a tension between you two. And also, you are now a sister to the First Lady, the wife to the President. Should we look at these and say your alliance do change?
The way I would answer that is you probably believe that I am God. I am omnipotent. I am so powerful because it is only God who is so powerful that he doesn't change. It is only God who is constant. Only God Almighty is constant. But us mere mortals, we change. We change according to the seasons. We change according to the times. We change according to things that happen around us. Yes, I criticized Tijan Kaba, and I did it as a patriot because of the way the war was being handled. And at the end of the day, before he left office, of his own volition, nobody recommended me to him. He insisted that he would not leave office without giving me a national honor. That speaks volumes. You come to Dr. Anes Baikooma. The only problem I have with him, if you can recall, when we lost office, I was his strongest ally. I was the person he would call when he's in distress, when he needs something to be done, when he needed protection. I was the one he called. This is a fact. But I fell out with him on matters of patriotism. I cannot be a party to certain things that are not good for Sierra Leone. And if you want to be a party to those things that are not good for Sierra Leone, then we will have a clash. And that is what happened between me and him. But you just had me praising him, that he had a positive influence on my life when it comes to unifying Sierra Leone, leading Sierra Leone as a unifier. The fact remains that before he decided to turn himself into what he is today, when he was the president of Sierra Leone, he led Sierra Leone tremendously well. He left legacies, he left good deeds. He left a lot of things that I was proud of when he was president. How he managed to get himself to where he is today is the reason why there is what you call tension. Because as I told you at the start of this program, I am very principled. When it comes to Sierra Leone, what is good for Sierra Leone is what I follow. What is not good for Sierra Leone, even at detriment to me, I will not follow it. The First Lady is not now my sister. This is the mistake a lot of you make. I knew Fatima before she knew most of you. In fact, I normally say that all these people in the SLPP who are now threatening that, oh, Sylvia and Fatima should not be around because Sylvia is APC, Fatima, we don't want Fatima around Sylvia. I knew Fatima before them. So it is not now that Fatima is my sister, because that's the narrative people give out. Fatima is going to be my sister for the rest of my life. Fatima has been my sister for over 25 years. People don't know this. Fatima was my sister before she met and fell in love with Julius Maada Bio. So it is not a now. She's been my sister. Politics always creates tension. How you manage the tension is what makes the relationship thrive or go on pause. But to say that she is now my sister like it's a newfound something, no, it's not. You go to the Gambia, you ask anybody in the Gambia, and they will tell you that they know Sylvia and Fatima since 25 years ago. So it's not a new relationship. It's just that politics creates these tensions, and she belongs to a political party where they don't believe in unity. They don't believe in cross-party relationships. They don't believe in two people belonging, one in APC, one in SIPP, can get along. Her party doesn't believe in that, and that's what creates tensions.
Now you've labeled yourself as a principled person, and rightly so. You've challenged, and rightly so, you've challenged governments on several fronts. When it comes to the issue of the chief minister, Dr. Blyden, where do you stand? Is it cooperation? Is it quiet hostility, or is it strategic distance?
You know what you are going to do for me? We will have a special program on the chief minister. And let me tell you why. You people brought him to your studio and you babysit him. You treated him, like a little baby. You didn't follow up the questions that you should follow up with him. And you allowed him to say all sorts of things about me on air. And I have found out that when the chief minister wants to get popularity for himself, he would go around and say, oh, I'm afraid. Hey, see Sylvia, all the Sylvia, they attack me. All the Sylvia, they write for me. And because I'm afraid. So I've caught on to his plot a long time ago that when you criticize him on governance issues, he takes it to his political flotsam and jetsam. And he says to them that, oh, because I'm tough, I'm afraid. So I don't want to discuss the chief minister on this program. I would want a special program where he would be brave enough to sit in that program. I will sit there and then let him repeat all the nonsense that he repeated on your program the last time. But since he's not here, and honestly, the young man just likes to give himself undue merit, undue credit. He would go and tell people, oh, I'm afraid. You see Sylvia all say they talk about me. So I just don't want to talk. We'll have a special program. Let him come and sit down and open his mouth and say all those things again in front of me, and then we can discuss him.
But Dr. Blyden, what will be your professional opinion on him? Is he open-minded, or is he part of the problems we're fighting?
Put him on the studio. Put me in the studio, the two of us, and then we can discuss him. You see what you did the last time? You put him on the studio. He spent 1 hour saying all sorts of things about me. In fact, he has done it 3 times now. He's come to your studio 3 times to attack me. And each time he has attacked me, I've ignored him. I've ignored him because I have caught on to his game plan. He's not popular. He's forcing himself to pretend to appear to be popular. So whenever Sylvia talks about him, he takes to say, hey, you see, that's so Sylvia be talk about Madabio. That's so Sylvia about begin talk about me. That means to say, Sylvia don't see.
And we hope in the case, we have both of you in the studio to be a civil, discussion.
So that's what he does. He would compare himself. I was the one who basically fought against President Madabio winning 2012 elections. This is on record. A lot of people know that. So he will go and tell people, oh, well, that's so affect Madabio. Now it affects myself. I mean to say that I'm the next man. So I don't put him on the studio. I'm in the studio, the two of us together, and let him say his nonsense, and I would reply at that time.
Would you want same for the mayor, Madam Ivoaki-Soya? There is tension between you two as well. Would that be the case as well?
I cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. Something is wrong with the recording. I cannot hear.
Would you want the same opportunity between yourself and the mayor, Madam Ivoaki-Soya?
I'm not hearing. I am not hearing anything.
But you can hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay,
I can hear you now, yes.
So he's trying to ask, would you want the same for the mayor, Madam Ivoaki-Soya? Because there has been a lot of controversies between the both of you as well as compared to that of the chief minister too.
Would I want to what? Sorry?
Would you want the same?
To sit down with the mayor.
Sit down and have a program or a conversation, mentioning about the chief minister?
The mayor is a different kettle of fish. For one, we both belong to the same political party. And I guess when the time comes, she would come to her senses and do what she has to do within party circles. So her own case is different.
Okay.
The chief minister is a completely, totally different kettle of fish.
Before we come to talk about your opinion about, political aspirants that are now being visible, with regards to the election in 2028, but let's talk about the recent reports which shows significant internal dissent within the APC, a party of which you are a member of, such as the Samsumana saga. Now, given all these visible fractures, how can the APC credibly criticize, the SLPP for governance failures when its own internal democracy appears to be in the same crisis of which they are complaining about?
Well, all political parties are never a smooth road. It's not possible for everything to be honky-donkey, everybody's happy, singing oh la la, hallelujah, everything is nice in our party. It would never happen. Whether it's in the Western democracies, whether it's in African democracies, as long as it's a political party, it's a group of people from different backgrounds coming together because they believe in one ideology that the party stands for. But their different backgrounds would definitely create tension, clash, and exchange of ideas that might be aggressive. It happens in all political parties. It is happening in the APC, it is happening in the SLPP, it is happening in the NGC. You might recall I was the youngest political party leader in Sierra Leone, in the history of Africa, in fact, not just Sierra Leone. In the entire Africa, I hold the record for being the youngest party leader to date when I became the leader of the Young People's Party. And even the Young People's Party, that was a party of very young people, we had internal dissent, we had arguments, we had a very small party in 2002. After the 2002 elections, there was so much tension within the Young People's Party. So all political parties have tensions. I don't see the APC's internal tension as being anything unique. It's expected because we are all from different backgrounds. So that would be my response.
We are heading towards the general elections in just a few years. Now, what specific or immediate steps would you advise, the party to take, in terms of unifying the party and ensure transparent processes? I mean, like I did mention earlier, you've been very vocal in terms of, speaking on political matters in Sierra Leone. If you are to advise, what specific advice would you give to the party in terms of unifying the party as we head towards the elections?
You mean my party?
APC party.
I give advice all the time to my party, but I like to do it behind closed doors a lot of times. The reason being, some advice I would give, openly, but a lot of times I give advice quietly. Over the weekend, I gave a strategic advice to certain sections of the party that they had not even seen until I pointed it out to them that, hey, look at this. So I would not want to give advice in public because our political opponents can pick ideas from my advice and they can just do certain things based on the public advice that I give. So I like giving the advice in private to the different sectors of my party, different people. I command tremendous respect in the All People's Congress, contrary to what a few people out there might think. I'm one of the most respected voices in the All People's Congress. When I speak, people listen. When I advise, people listen. And I had a sabbatical from the party because it was clear that the party was on a wrong footing by 2022, heading to 2023. It was clear the party was on the wrong footing. It was clear that certain tyrannical actions were happening. It was clear that certain betrayals were happening, within what we call in Creole cell game. It was clear that cell gaming they happen. So I had decided to take a backseat because, as we say, good player not the fit for vest.
Dr. Blyden.
So, but now, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please. Go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah. So good player not the fit for vest. But now, I am now more proactive because if you abandon your party and allow them to just continue messing up like they've messed up. Because, you know, it was very frustrating at a point in time when you are saying what is sensible for your party. You're telling them, listen, for the census, we have to be counted. If we are not counted, we're going to lose seats. And it was like you're hitting your head against a brick wall. You're telling them about certain things that they were doing. I won't go into much details. They're saying, this is not going to work. And it was like you're hitting your head against a brick wall. So it got frustrating and said, okay, you know, just sit back and let them be. But now, I have realized that I have to at least be advising from behind the scenes, letting them know what is correct, what is wrong, how we can go forward. But I do all of that now behind the scenes, not in public.
Dr. Blyden, it's good that you've taken time out to clarify your stance within the There's been a lot of concerns about, you know, whether you're still, you know, an active member within the party. But let me take your attention back to...
Step of the way, not only have I ensured that people know I'm active, but I took certain strategic steps to ensure people know that I'm active by fighting for my membership to remain as a honorary foundation member. What else do you need to show that somebody wants to be actively involved in a party that she cherishes so much? My detractors, naturally, because of my popularity that cuts across, they get scared. So they make up some of these stories. But they themselves know that when it comes to the APC, in terms of genuine intentions for the APC, we're not better we let APC reach Sylvia Olayinka Blyden. That's a fact.
Do you believe in the correlative structure of the APC?
You mean Alhaji Usman Fode Yansane as the acting chairman?
Yes. Do you believe
Lawyer Lansana Dumbuya as the secretary general?
Yes.
You mean that executive?
Yes. Do you believe in this executive?
Hello?
So he's trying to ask, do you believe in the
sound has gone off again.
Okay.
I'm not hearing anything again.
But can you hear me?
The sound has gone off again.
Can you hear me? Okay, we'll try to get at that, but let me ask the question.
The sound has gone off. I don't know if you are hearing me. Are you hearing me? I'm not hearing anything.
We can clearly get you.
We can hear you from our side.
We can clearly get you. I was going to ask you, do you still believe in this current administration of the APC? Are you confident in them? I think we're having technical issues now. Continue to stay with us, Madam Blyden. Let's take a quick break while our technicians... welcome back, Dr. Blyden. Hope you can get me now.
Yes, yes.
Yes, apologies for that technical glitch. I was asking, do you believe in this current executive and administrative body of the APC? And secondly, who do you see to be the flag bearer of the APC?
Can I ask if you are recording this? Because I'm not recording it, and I would really love to have it.
We are recording this, definitely.
Okay, so even the segment that, because I want to see if I can put another phone and try to record it, but it might not be good because I didn't set up a second phone. You are recording?
Yes, we are. And Remy will share the recording with you, rightly so.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So yeah, let's flow. What's the question again?
Do you believe or trust in this coalition or executive? That's the first question. The second one is, who do you see to be the flag bearer of the APC?
The first question, let's keep in mind that this is the same executive, in as much as the leadership has changed, because the person who was the leader for the 2023 elections is no longer the leader, but the executive is still the same executive, which, as I speak, is yet to produce our ARA reforms for the 2023 elections. Is yet to produce any electoral results for even one district. Not even one district. They cannot produce the 2023 election results for one district. They cannot produce the election results for Freetown City. We don't have the results for the mayor of Freetown. We don't have the results for the councillors of Freetown. And Freetown is the small between Orogu Bridge and Juba Bridge. This small area, they cannot give us our results up till now. It's the same executive that had the Falaba results, which spoke volumes about how the elections had issues. The turnout for the president, the percentage turnout for the local government, the percentage turnout for the members of parliament, they are all different. That alone was enough grounds to go to the Supreme Court. Even if not for the presidential elections, but for the council and the members of parliament, they had up to 21 days after the announcement of those results, because the presidency is 7 days. But for those ones, they had up to 21 days. And those results were announced very late. So it means there was a gap of almost 2 months before the results were announced, within which they had time to go to court. But this is the same executive that did not go to court to challenge the mayor results of Freetown, the mayor results of Potloko, the mayor results of Makeni, the mayor results of Kono, because I would not expect them to challenge the results in the SFP strongholds. But those data that are missing, 2, the inability to go to court and seek for jurisprudence to be built that would strengthen the party. Even if we lose, the jurisprudence would be built. That is why I went to Supreme Court in 2018. That is why I tensioned myself in 2018, because I wanted to build jurisprudence. So this same executive that failed is the same executive in place. And they are yet to apologize to the membership of the party. They are yet to apologize to us. Why don't we have our results? We don't even have results for the small enclave of Freetown. You cannot give us our results. Why did we not go to court? So there are so many issues around the executive. But at the same time, I have to give them credit for keeping hope alive. Because it's not easy. The type of disarray that the party was under, they have kept hope alive. They've kept the party structures. They've maintained the authenticity of the party's ideology that Sheikh Stevens left for us. They have also undertaken steps to try to unify the party and bring the party around. It's not perfect, but they have taken steps that are quite admirable. They've also raised funds that I'm very impressed with. The amount of money that they've raised from our membership. Because that is one of the key things that I had put in my 9-man recommendation report. about raising funds from the members. The amount of money that they've raised from the diaspora, this executive, the amount of money that they have raised even locally, and the way they have made the party to remain to be attractive, because the APC now is very attractive. So attractive that we have all these people coming forward to want to be leaders, presidential candidates of our great party. It is because the executive has shown sterling strength of character to maintain the APC as a force to be reckoned with that is so attractive that you have people putting billions of leons into the All People's Congress. So those are the two sides of the coins. They failed and they are yet to apologize. But at the same time, they are doing tremendously well in a lot of areas. Fundraising, keeping the party attractive, they are doing well.
And Dr. Blyden, who do you see to become the flag bearer of the APC? And I'll double that down to also ask again, are you also, or you yourself, are you interested in running for the flag bearership of the APC?
Well, maybe I'm interested, maybe. Time will show, because you know now we have to go. They just issued a release yesterday that the party, I'm sorry, the party just issued a release that the party is going to be traveling across Sierra Leone to look at issues of the upcoming choice of who should be candidates, the qualifications, and just other strategic issues, which shows you that the party is still like in motion. It is not yet stabilized in terms of determining the way forward for who will be the presidential candidate. So everything is fluid for now. So my ambitions are also fluid for now. A lot of people's ambitions are also fluid for now. So let's see how things go. Now, as to who would become the presidential candidate, yes, I know say they can call me Gina Musa. But me and Gina Musa not get that same powers there for everyone. For everyone know who that get for be the APC presidential candidate. I have absolutely no idea. It can be me. I can be the APC president. It depends. So to ask me who would be the APC presidential candidate, I would not be able to answer. I'm not a magician. I don't know.
So Dr. Blyden, before we come to speak on the issue of the current SLPP chairman, Jimmy Sengeh, a statement that he made, let me take your attention to a fact check by Dubawa in September 2025.
Excuse me 1 second. Let me just get some water, please.
Please, go ahead.
Just 1 second.
To our viewers and listeners, we're still here with Dr. Sylvia.
Okay, I'm back.
Blyden.
And they should keep those comments coming in on Facebook.
Coming in. You know, it's been an interesting conversation so far. I mean, there have been a lot of things that have been unpacked.
Someone is just sending me an SMS text that they noticed that the chair I'm sitting on is red when I got up. Yes, it is red.
Interesting. So I wanted to draw your attention to a fact check report by Dubawa in September 2020. Found out that a popular APC politician made a misleading claim about a non-existing 10 years presidential term agreement between the APC and that of the SLPP. Now, in an era where, you know, misinformation deepens political distrust, and what is the APC's concrete policy to ensure its members and officials communicate accurately, and how do you hold those who spread false narrative accountable? And that statement was made by Leroy Wilfred Capscano Esquire.
I don't know if it is the network, but all I heard is Dubawa and then Capscano Esquire. It's not. I couldn't.
So let me reiterate again. you know, now we're heading towards the election, and, you know, the political atmosphere, the tension and everything seems to be there at the moment. A statement made by Leroy Wilfred Capscano Esquire, which was fact-checked by Dubawa in 2025, stating that a claim about a non-existing 10 years presidential term agreement between the APC and that of the SLPP. So what I'm trying to ask is, what concrete measures is the APC or policies the APC trying to ensure that, you know, its members and officials communicate accurately as we're heading towards, you know, the elections?
As at this moment, I am not in the APC hierarchy. I cannot speak as to what the APC as a party is planning or is doing, because I'm not in the party hierarchy.
But you can give advice to both political parties at the moment.
Okay, yes. As a patriot, I can. But you were asking me what is the APC going to do? I cannot speak on that. Okay. The only person who can speak on that would have to be those who were elected to speak on behalf of the party.
Go ahead, please. But what advice can you give to both political parties? Because we've been seeing quite a lot of, you know, talks, you know, in other programs. Quite recently, we had the same in one of our, you know, sisters' media stations or outlets. I think it was Liberty, where, you know, the spokesperson for the First Lady, Dadida, you know, mentioned something that, you know, was considered to be insightful. You know, and also we've had a recent one from Jimmy Batilo Sengeh, who happens to be the current SLPP chairman, where he said, you know, come 2028 with regards to the election, they will use like army men, you know, to stop, you know, anything in case of any issues, you know, with regards to the election. All of that, you know, what advice can you give to both political parties on how to go about communicating, I mean, party officials in how to go about communicating, you know, or disseminating information as we head towards the elections?
Well, earlier I told you of how impressed I was with the PPRC. I think the PPRC is doing a very good job so far to sanitize the media exchange. The two parties are also, I think, moving forward. They will not repeat those mistakes that happened in Falaba, or happened at the SLPP party office, or happened with the First Lady's, the young gentleman, Dadida, utterances. I think moving forward now, we might be gliding towards a very positive media landscape with the PPRC on board as they are right now. That would be my take.
Okay. Now let's governance and, you know, national and developmental issues. Now, critics argue that after 7 years in power, the SLPP government has left citizens trapped in poverty and empty promises, with soaring prices, stifled democracy, and a devastating drug abuse. I'm sure this is something, I mean, specifically so for the drug abuse, this is something, you know, a lot of people have been discussing around, whether on social media or in persons and stuff like that. As the main opposition, beyond criticism, what tangible alternative policy blueprints does the APC offer to tackle, you know, some of these specific issues of economic survival, youth despair, and also democratic space? I know for a fact that you're saying that, you know, you're not part of the hierarchy within the APC at the member, you know, within the APC. In your own perspective, what do you think, you know, the APC as an opposition should be doing at the moment in order to address some of those concerns or issues in the country?
Well, what the APC should be doing at the moment, I would tell the APC when I'm with the APC. I would not tell the APC on a public forum. So I would beg to politely decline to answer that particular question.
Dr. Blyden, you know, go give them himself.
You know, go give them small thing at least.
No, not in public. Okay. Not in public. But maybe I can use this opportunity to address an issue on this drugs.
Drug abuse, absolutely. Thank you.
I don't know if we have enough time.
We can have that. We can have that. You can go ahead with that. Maybe we'll wrap up with that.
Okay. Something happened in this country that it just took my strength of character that got me to be able to handle it. You see, this government has an unfortunate tendency of, okay, let me put it in Creole. Me no see them, they afraid me. And they scared me, there's reputation, they know my political prowess, so they tend to be scared of me. I'm aware of that. But they go to extents, because they're scared, they go to extents that can sometimes even endanger me because of the way they're scared of me. When this issue of the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport in the hands of international cocaine dealers, when it happened, I was treated badly by the government, especially the Minister of Information. I acted as a patriot. When the news blew on social media, I'm an investigative journalist and I have a lot of investigative that I use to do my journalism. I can get information with a myriad of ways. I don't just look at the superficial. So when the news broke from the Turkey news agency, the Turkish government, I delved deeper and I found out the information about the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport in the hands of this cocaine baron. Now, how did I find out? It wasn't in the Turkey news reports. But when I delved deeper using investigative tools, it popped up in Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, in their language. So in other words, in German language, in Dutch language, and in Belgian language. They wrote about this, and they wrote about the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport found in the hands of this man who is a brother-in-law of the cocaine baron allegedly in Sierra Leone. Wow, that was shocking. So I did further investigations to a friend of mine in France, a journalist friend of mine, and he connected me with one of the key sources, because it was a syndicated report, credible. Several newspapers take it and they run with it. They all publish it. So it was a syndicated report. And my friend in France, my journalist friend, connected me with the actual journalist who did the investigation. And because it was a journalist to journalist speaking, he said to me that this passport, this diplomatic passport, it wasn't found on this man in Dubai today, this weekend, when he was arrested. This diplomatic passport was found on this man on June 13th, mark the date, June 13th, 2023. When the Turkish government did a raid on this Jos Lijeka, or Jos, the one who is alleged to be in Sierra Leone, they did a raid on him because the Netherlands, the King of Netherlands, had been pressuring that they were going after Jos because of his daughter was under threat. So they did a massive raid. And in the brother-in-law's house, on June 13th, 2023, is when they found the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport in Turkey, alongside a whole host of foreign fake identities, different names of 15 people who were arrested. Now I got this information, I was stunned. Immediately I picked the phone and I called the Minister of Information. Because one thing I am a patriot. Whatever I do, always Sierra Leone first. So I called the Minister of Information and I said to him, Siba,
you don't see this fearful, fearful news? He said, I said, this diplomatic passport, with then Kitchener, then cocaine guiding. And I said, this news is all over. Then he said to me, yes. I said, well, I'm putting out a news report. I said, I would hold on. In the news report, I'm going to say I'm holding on for the government's own side. As a patriot, I gave this government the chance not to release. I'm revealing some of this now for the first time today. The date the passport was caught in Turkey, everything. This passport was not only caught in Turkey, this Sierra Leone diplomatic passport on June 13th, 2023, but this passport is what was tendered alongside the other fake identities. These other fraudulent, well, not fake, but fake names. The same face would have a different name on the Sierra Leone passport, a different name on the German passport. So these were tendered to the courts in Turkey as evidence of flight risks, 15 of them. Cocaine trafficking, 15. And so the prosecutor in Turkey said, because these people have these passports from Sierra Leone, from Germany, from different sides, don't grant them bail. If you grant them bail, they're going to run away. The judge was bribed, according to the report, 720,000 United States dollars, and he granted them bail on the condition that they should be chained in their houses. They have this chain that they put on people's houses. And as soon as they were granted bail, they all ran away from Turkey and went to Dubai. So it was the extradition of them now from Dubai, those who they could catch, not all 15 of them because they ran away. It was the extradition of them now that had happened that day, that they were now referencing the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport from June 13, 2023. So now, I'm waiting for Siba, the Minister of Information, to come back to me. I put out the news and I don't put out all this information. I just put out just a short blog and I say the government has been contacted and when they react, I will put their reaction in my publication. What did they do? The next thing I see, Siba has these little boys, because that's what I would call them. They work for him. All over social media, they start attacking me. Sylvia is a liar. We have checked the Turkey diplomatic passport. It's a fake, it's a lie. They even have one boy in New York. He did a whole piece on me, attacking me. That everything I said about the Sierra Leone diplomatic passport in the cocaine dealer's hands is all false. They were attacking me based on they only checked the Turkey report. They didn't check the Germany report, the Brussels report, the Netherlands report, and they didn't even know the information that I already had that I'm revealing for the first time, that this passport 2023. Now, I'm expecting Siba to get back to me as Minister of Information, as he had promised. Do you know what he did? To show that he was the one sending these boys. He didn't get back to me. He sent me a text. He said, oh, when you called me earlier, I was fast asleep, so I did not know what I was saying to you. So now I have checked. Your story is not true. So that courtesy that I had to reach out to the government as a patriot to say, this information is here. I'm not going to put out information. I'm waiting for you to give me information so I can do a balanced story about what I have found out. It was an opportunity for the government to say, oh, we've got Sylvia Blyden. Let's go after her now. And this is one of the problems that this government has. They have people like myself who are patriots, who are willing to serve this country in my field of journalism as a patriot, but they are constantly in war mode. Sylvia and APC, for always, everything for they do, for they attack Sylvia, for they undermine Sylvia, for they do this to Sylvia, for they do that to Sylvia. Imagine a whole Minister of Information sending to tell me that, oh, I mean, they sleep when I talk to you. Because they had just checked the Turkey report, And they now saw an opportunity to go after Sylvia. And the very next morning, to show the malice, you had the Speaker of Parliament. I watched him. He was talking about how some people are talking about drugs, cocaine. If it was in Ghana, one woman, they would just take her phone and smash her phone. This is what we are living under. This is the regime we are living under. So speaking about this cocaine issue, it just gave me an opportunity to talk to Sierra Leoneans today, for them to know the type of government we are living under. They set people up. Imagine if they had really found that there was no report, which with my level of experience as a journalist in this country, there is no way I would do a fake report. But just to show you that these people are innately divisive. No matter how patriotic you are, they're divisive. That's one of the challenges we face as citizens.
Okay, Dr. Sylvia Blyden, quickly as we're about to wrap up, this
and
segment.
Thank you for giving me this space to air this one out. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, absolutely. Now, Dr. Blyden, reflecting on your long career in politics and also in terms of advocacy, what is that one fundamental change in Sierra Leone's political culture that you believe must happen above all else for the country to break free from its cycles of poverty and also poor governance?
The connection went off again just now. Please, can you repeat the question?
So I was trying to say, reflecting on your long career in politics and also in the world of activism, what is that one fundamental change in Sierra Leone's political culture that you believe must happen above all else for the country to actually break free from its cycle of whether poor governance or economy and so to speak?
Off the top of my head, I think we need to rethink our budget so that more money from our budget is spent on social issues than on the office of the president and on international travels. If we spend more money on social issues, social welfare issues, I think that would solve a lot of Sierra Leone's problems. If we rethink our budget so that the budget becomes a real people's budget, where the money is for the people, the money is for the Kush victims, the money is for the pregnant women, the money is for the children, the money is for those in need. The money is not for flying on private jets here and there. The money is not for taking huge delegations to go and enjoy life out there. If we are not just for this government, this is a perennial thing that has been happening, not just this government. So if we can rethink our budget so that our mindset is now one where we are serving Sierra Leoneans, the budget, the money is for the people. The money is not for State House. The money is not for the office of the president. The money is for the people. I think that would solve a lot of our problems. We just need to reorientate our minds. That this money, this budget, not for the people. This money, not for them young man them. This money, the other day, a friend of mine, minister, was explaining about how they didn't have enough money from World Bank to do something for the young people of Sierra Leone. So they went to the bank and he was explaining stuff. And I was just saying to myself, the amount of money that he's explaining that they needed, I think it was like $50-something thousand or so. That is just one international trip. So it is because their priorities are not just this government. I want to say it again, not just this government, even the previous governments. Priorities are not properly oriented. If we orient our mindset that this money does not belong to this money belongs to the people of Sierra Leone, I believe it would solve a lot of social issues and help to take us out of this perennial poverty.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden, for taking time out, to speak speak to not just us here at AYV, but also, you know, our audience. I would have loved to maybe draw your attention also to the post you made with regards, drawing the attention of the ACC boss, the commissioner, Francis Bendukai-Fala, with regards, you know, the current tweet made by the chief minister. But since you're saying that, you know, whatever questions that aligns with the chief minister, we're supposed to have you both in the studios, we'll see how best, you know, we can have the both of you in the studio to discuss about issues around him. But thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate your time and all the clarities you've made so far in today's program.